So guys, someone beside me here is legit the first expatriate who create his own special show in English in Indonesia comedy scene, ladies and gentlemen. The only one, yay! Awesome. It's the first guy, the first Bule. Is it okay for me to call white people Bule? I don't know. Sometimes they call it racist.
Sure. I'm a white man. There's nothing you can say that can offend.
Yeah, right. The first Bule who created this special stand-up comedy show in Indonesia.
He was the MC,
Host.
by the way.
Yep, because he doesn't have money to create it on his own country, so he does it in Indonesia.
And I didn't have money to pay him, by the way.
But it was great, right? It was great. The show was great, awesome. Before we go further, you can follow him on Instagram. I'm not your coach. I'll do the subtitle there so that you can block him. So yeah, Mr. Christian Giacobbe, how are you, sir?
Great.
Great.
Yes.
Wow.
Another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise, jungle.
Yeah, and I'm white, so they're not gonna deport me. So it's great. It's fun. I'm legal, by the way.
Yep, he has kitas, he has everything's needed to live in Bali.
Money, I got for it.
So, the first thing that I usually do is that I would love to allow you to explain about yourself first. Where are you from? Where were you before in Bali, and what are you doing for a living? That's later, but let's say something that. Where were you from?
I'm from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Italian. I'm from Milano.
Mm-hmm.
AC Milan fan, just like you. But I've been living all over the place.
All over the place?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In my life, I lived in the US. I lived in Africa. I lived in Iceland. I lived in Spain. I lived in Greece. And now I've been living in Bali for 3 years.
Right.
Yes.
3 years, that's quite a while.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Bali's home now.
You've been speaking Bahasa a bit?
Zero.
Zero? Like at all?
Nothing. Nothing. Apa kabar? Baik-baik. And pagi, malam.
Yeah. A simple greeting, simple words, simple vocabularies.
And I'm one of those assholes who get annoyed if I go to a restaurant and they don't speak English.
Yeah. But the biggest question in my head before this, actually the biggest question my whole life doing this stand comedy in Bali is that you were so proper on doing public speaking. I mean, like, we're not talking about comedy, we're talking about public speaking itself. How did you learn that? I mean, like, did you forge yourself to speak in front of people? You joined some community or blah blah?
Well, public speaking is kind of a drug. You know what I mean? Once you are in front of the audience, you feel this empowerment. You know, to have everyone listening to you, and you can have different reaction from the audience. You can. Of course, with comedy, the reaction that you're looking for is the laughter, is the applauses. But even when you do serious or motivational speaking, you get the attention.
Correct.
I started early. When I was 18, I started doing something that is very common for young Italian kids. Which is, we call it animator or entertainer. Right. Basically, Italians have resorts. This was mostly in the 90s. Now in the 2020s is a little bit less.
Right.
Resorts all over the world just for Italians.
Right.
And these people go to these resorts. I started, for example, the first country I did this was in Africa. There would be this resort would be for like 500 people. They would all come the same day of the week, they would all leave the same day of the week, and they would never actually leave the resort.
Right.
So
they were there all the time.
So it would make no sense because you say, oh yeah, I went to Africa, what did you see? The resort, that's it.
Right.
And my job during the day was to make sure they had fun. So I was just talking to people.
Just talking?
talking to people, maybe organizing a beach volley tournament, but it was just like if I was on holiday the whole time, but I had to be very extrovert and make sure people had fun. And then in the evening, the resort had this amphitheater where all of them, or 90% of them, would go there and expect to be entertained.
Right.
And so I would do stand-up comedy, I would do musicals, I would do just acting and doing comedies, and I would do game nights. And I did this every time you would do this. The season would last 6 months, and you would have 0 day off. So every single night.
6 months.
Yes. And I did this in several countries, and that's where my passion for stand-up came. Then I come from like a middle high class family. So at one point I was forced to go and have the proper job with a 3-piece suit and start making money. But I still loved and enjoyed talking, and I became a salesperson, a very good salesperson. So
I can see that.
So I was training other people.
How do you call yourself? I'm not your coach.
Yeah. And actually I was, in Italy we say, I was selling smoke.
Selling smoke?
Yes, meaning that I was selling, it didn't matter to me what was the product, or if the product was useful, or if it was a good price, I would just sell it because I could. Now, I had a fallout with this huge company, a $1 billion company for which I was sales manager, and I left with a bunch of money because they did me dirty. And I said, well, if you don't give me a bunch of money, I'm gonna go and call the lawyers and sue you. So they gave me a bunch of money, so I bought a one-way ticket to Bali. And here in Bali, everyone was a public speaker. And I realized that everyone who was a public speaker and was saying, yeah, I do speeches for a living, they were really bad at it.
Really?
Yes. Like, there's 2 things that you need if you want to be a good public speaker.
Yes, okay.
One is the content.
Right.
So if you have original content, or if you have especially good content, it doesn't matter if you're not that good at public speaking, because people will listen to you.
True.
Or you have to be good at fucking speaking in front of people. And I was going to this seminar where people didn't have
both.
Neither of them, because they were just recycling someone else's material and saying in a shitty way.
They're trying to rebrand the old one and
Exactly.
then use.
If you look, and that's why I started this kind of not, and I called myself I'm not your coach, and I grew up on the social media with that because I wanted to be different from everyone else, because if you listen to the code, they all tell you the same thing. And to me, it's always that, for example, the concept of ikigai. You know the concept?
I know. That makes sense. Yeah.
And everyone says the same, but why should I pay you to teach me when I can just read the book, which is the only thing you did as well?
True. That's no point. True.
To me, coaches only work because accountability. That's what I give to them. Because of course, if I give you money, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna do it just because I gave you money. It's the gym principle.
Right.
You pay for 3 months and then you force yourself to go to the gym, while if you just paid for 1 month, the second you'll be like, fuck, I'm out. But so also here I found Toastmaster, the Toastmasters community. Actually, I found Toastmaster because of a Tinder date.
Okay, that's interesting. How?
I went on a Tinder date, and of course I like talking, and the girl was like, oh, you're really good in telling stories.
She's also a Toastmaster person?
I never met her after that. You should join Toastmaster. I was like, well, what the fuck is that? Like, I thought she was literally referring to me drinking too much.
Toastmaster.
And I was like, and now of course I'm an egomaniac. I was like, I don't need to learn public speaking. I know public speaking.
And then
one day I was passing by the place where they were doing it. I was like, oh, Toastmaster was like 6 months after. Okay, I joined. I loved it. After 6 months, I became president. After 7 months, I opened a new club. So I was president of 2 clubs.
Okay.
So I was the president in Canggu and in Ubud.
I was in Sanur once.
Oh yeah, it's a nice club. And I started liking it and everything else, and then I was like, okay, let's do public speaking. I was supposed to do my first TED Talk.
Suppose.
Yeah,
What
in
happened?
Kuala Lumpur, and then Corona happened. And because I'm Italian, at the beginning, Malaysia didn't accept people from Italy.
Yeah, because there are a lot of.
Because we were one of the most
Yeah.
affected countries. And after that, he came full circle and I started comedy again.